Good afternoon, dear listeners. Welcome to the Baobab Talk Show, airing on 89.2 FM. You can also follow us on our social media platform on the Baobab Talk Show page. On the mic is your host Haita Silla, and co-hosting this show with me is Alun Gindo. Alun, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me once again, Taita.
Today, we are very honored to welcome on our show a special guest, Mr. Abdul Wafi Zulkifli. I hope I'm saying it right.
Yes.
Is the first Secretary Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Malaysia here in Dakar. Mr. Zulkifli has been in duty since 2019, and prior to his assignment in Dakar, he worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Malaysia. Born in Kuala Lumpur, Mr. Zulkifli was schooled both in the US and in Malaysia. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Actuarial Sciences from Drake University in the state of Iowa in the US, and a master's degree in public administration from Malaya University in Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Zulkifli, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Do you want to add anything?
Thank you so much, Madam Haita. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me. Yes, that's correct what you said. I've been here since 2019. It was November 2019. So in the next couple of years, I'll be celebrating my third anniversary in Dakar. So I can call myself a Senegalese now.
I hope Dakar is treating you well.
Yes. Dakar has been very kind to me, so I enjoyed my whole time in Dakar. So 2019 and then 2020, COVID-19 hit us, and basically I get to see Senegal before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. So I get to
That's quite an experience, isn't it?
yes, I get to feel the whole the whole time in the last 3 years.
Great.
So yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I am very happy to share with all of our listeners today of more about what we're going to discuss later on. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a confession to make about Malaysia.
Yeah?
I'll make it before the end of the show.
Okay.
But some of our listeners might not have any idea whatsoever about Malaysia. If you were to talk about your country, what would you say?
Well, okay. Before we go further into the country, let's look at the location of Malaysia in the geopolitical map. So basically, Malaysia is in the Southeast Asia region, or what we call, in the global context, we call it ASEAN, which is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So we are 10 countries in ASEAN. So we are in the middle of it. So we are in one of the most strategic region in Asia. So we are in the south of Thailand and in the north of Singapore and Indonesia. So these are our neighbors: Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Brunei. So we are in the middle of Southeast Asia region. We have about 34 million people in Malaysia. So roughly double the size of Senegal in terms of the population. And just like Senegal, we are also multi-ethnic country, multi-religious. We have 3 major races, which is Malay. Malay is people like me, so I am 100% Malay. So about more than 60%, 66% of Malaysians are Malay, and then followed by the Chinese. Chinese. I think Chinese. About more than 20%, and then followed by the Indian community, about less than 10%, and the rest are the indigenous people who have been in Malaysia even before Malaysia was found. So that makes the population of Malaysia. So Malaysia is also, we have a lot of beaches, we have a lot of mountains. In Malaysia also we have the the highest mountain in the Southeast Asia region. We call it Mount Kinabalu. So we will go into that later, I think. But to talk about Malaysia, yeah, we live. Even though we live in a very big community from a lot of people, a lot of ethnic, a lot of languages, a lot of cultures, a lot of values, but we live, happily. We live in harmony, just like Senegalese.
Yeah.
We live very happily. We accept each other very well. We accept each other's value, and we take everyone as a family. So just like I said, like the regular Senegalese. Yeah. So if I want to talk about Malaysia, yeah. So that's what I can start with. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very worried about the plight of indigenous communities everywhere in the world, because they're the settlers, but then development comes and they're often left behind. How integrated is the indigenous community of Malaysia?
Indigenous community in Malaysia was given highest priority by the government, because these people, it's not like they don't want to develop with us. They want to develop, but they live very far away from the main cities, from the main town. So they choose, actually is their own choice. They want to live in the nature, I would say. I don't want to say live in the jungle, but they live in the nature. Yeah, they are not ready to go into the big city, to the mainstream places, and even though they choose to live in the nature, to choose far away, but the government still, the people and the government still care about them. They always been given a lot of opportunities to study, to work, and even whatever that they work in their village, for example, any kind of any sort of things that they develop in their own place, they can bring it to the cities, they can sell it.
Awesome.
Still, they are also given the same
Opportunities as
just like
any other group.
people. Yeah.
Thank you. Senegal and Malaysia. I know that both of our countries have been enjoying a warm and cordial relationship over 30 years now.
30 years, yeah.
Wow. Can you describe more the level of bilateral cooperation between the two countries?
Yeah. Let's start with when we actually be present in each other's country. So actually Malaysia started first. We were in Dakar in 1992. So before that we were in Bamako, actually. Bamako. And then due to some changes in priority in terms of bilateral relations, we moved from Bamako, we moved to Dakar in 1992. We were in Bamako since 1986.
Wow.
So it was not very long.
Yes.
Just 6 years. And then we moved to Dakar in 1992. And that's when we opened our embassy, what we call we opened our mission in Dakar. And since then we are here for 3 years. And for the Senegalese, they came to Kuala Lumpur in the year 2000. What we call the millennium.
Yes.
Year 2000, because at the time I believe Abdullah Wad was just elected as the president. So I think you all are aware that Abdullah Wad, he is very fond of diversifying international partners. So I believe at the time he looked toward the east, towards the Asian people. So he visited Malaysia at the time, in the year of 2000, and we were actually I would say very lucky in the sense that he chose to go to Malaysia, to visit Malaysia as the first country that he visited in the Southeast Asia region among the other 10 ASEAN countries. So Malaysia was chosen for him to visit Asia, and at the time that's when the embassy of Senegal was opened in Kuala Lumpur in the year 2000, and the first ambassador is Monsieur Manduk Fai. I have no idea, maybe he is now retired. Very, very, very long time ago. So that's how we started. So if I can just add a little bit more in that particular visit, our then Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir was a good close friend to Abdullah Wad. So he brought him to this to the city of Putrajaya. So this city of Putrajaya is a place where it's a administrative capital of Malaysia. So it was actually new. Putrajaya was very new at that time, and Abdullah Wad, the President Wad, looked at it and he said that he's very impressed with the concept of moving away from Kuala Lumpur and open a new administrative capital in Putrajaya, and he was impressed. And I was told by my predecessor, my former ambassadors, that he was very impressed, and he came back and he developed the city of Jamnyajo. That's how the idea started.
It came about.
Yeah, that's how the idea came about. I was told.
That I'm sure it has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's something. It's a really interesting anecdote. And besides that, what sells a lot of dream to people that want to go to Malaysia is the touristic opportunities that we have there. But on the other side, I know it's a country that attracts a lot of interest in terms of economics and business. If you were today in front of a group of business people, businessmen, businesswomen, wanting to visit Malaysia and explore business opportunities, where would you take them first? And what are the strengths that you think Malaysia has when it comes to international trade?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities in Malaysia for businessmen or businesswomen to come and to visit Malaysia. But to give you a context, to give you an idea of the level of bilateral trade between Malaysia and Senegal, was the sector that make the most of the trade is in the mining sector between Malaysia and Senegal. So Senegal imported a lot of raw metal, raw iron, and then they brought it into Senegal, and I believe they used the raw materials, raw iron, raw metal, nickel, tin, all sort of metals, and they used that to develop the manufacturing sector in Senegal. So if Senegalese businessmen who are interested in this sector, I think Malaysia is one of the major producers of this raw metal. Other than that, it was mechanical machineries, and also E&E, or what we call it, electronic and electrical items. Many countries look for Malaysia when it comes to the automotive parts. So any types of parts, any types of brands of car like Honda, Toyota, and most of the parts are made in Malaysia. So many countries, many companies, they choose Malaysia as one of the major supplier of this item. So Senegal also one of them. Other than that, the third sector is in the agricultural and also seafood products. So yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
Yes.
So but the amount is not that big. About 15% of the trade comes from this sector, agricultural. So which I believe it does not come in a finished product. It comes in again like raw material. So fish or seafood, it comes in a raw material, and they use it and they process it to suit more into Senegalese taste. So but these are the three items. They are the three sectors that attract a lot of Senegalese companies, Senegalese businessmen and businesswomen. But there is also some interest that we see now is that most Senegalese companies are importing cooking oils from Malaysia. So yeah, I believe there has been some changes in the restrictions about importing cooking
Yes,
oils,
sure.
and that's why more companies now are looking for a more competitive price, competitive cost to bring in the cooking oils. I think, Madame and Monsieur, you are aware that the prices are going up now.
Yes.
So
Yes, I agree.
companies are struggling. Companies are looking for cheaper products to sell so that they can maintain the same,
Yeah.
profit margin. And we can see that a lot of companies now, they import cooking oil, not only cooking oil, also crude palm oil, or what we call it CP8 or CP10. It's a grade of the crude palm oil, and they bring it in and they use the oil to produce whatever products that they are doing. For
Yeah.
example, cosmetics, soaps, detergents, and some also using it as a biodiesel to as an alternative to the standard petrol or diesel. So if you again, back to the question, what would be the best thing that I can sell to Senegalese people is go for the cooking oil at this point, because Malaysia is capable of producing a lot of cooking oils besides I would say our rivals, which is Indonesia. They also produce a lot of cooking palm oil, but they have a big domestic market.
Okay.
Compared to Malaysia, we also have a domestic market, but we produce more than what people in Malaysia are using. So this is an opportunity for
Yes.
Senegal to tap into this
And to share profits as well.
What's that?
And to share profits as well.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Clearly. So, well, it seems like a really attractive country, and today in the Southeast Asia region, we have other interesting countries. We have, as you just mentioned it, Singapore. We have Thailand, and also Indonesia. But Malaysia is said to be the best place to visit there. What is so interesting about this country, and why would anyone want to go there? Besides business opportunities, what is really attracting? Something that I know for sure is that for a country like Senegal, mostly composed by Muslims, Malaysian mosques are really a treasure that we look upon too. So can you tell us more about the beauty of the country and another field of attractiveness that the country has?
Thank you. Malaysia is, of course, is a place to visit. It's a country that you must visit if you happen to travel to Asia or in Southeast Asia. Actually, I just want to share with you that in 2020 we are having what we call Visit Malaysia 2020. So we did a lot of preparations for this year, for year 2020, to attract as many tourists as we can to Malaysia. But COVID hits and the whole preparation just needs to be deferred to I think next year they are doing it again. But why Malaysia? Why Malaysia should be the place to visit? Like you said just now, we have about more than 60% of Muslims. So what we are offering is a Islamic tourism, I would say, Islamic tourism, that if you are looking for places to visit in Malaysia, places to be more close to God, I would say, among the Muslims, there are a lot of places that you can go to, like the mosque, and to be honest, we have a lot of beautiful mosques to visit, and not only about the places, not only about the mosque, it's about the Muslim or Islamic way of life in Malaysia that can be very similar to what the Senegalese are having in their own country right now. Apart from that, apart from the Islamic tourism, Malaysian tourism also offers hospitality in the sense that when you go there, you feel like home. You feel like home. You when you go to the hotels, when you go to the what we call it homestay. Homestay is a concept that we develop. Like you go to one of the villages. You go to the village and you can live like the locals. You can live like the locals.
With the locals as well.
Yeah. You live with them. They provide you with a small house. Well, I wouldn't say small house. You were provided a house, and they arrange activities for you. So basically, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any preparation.
Yes.
So what you do, you just
Take
you
your
go to this
luggage.
just go to this village and just make your booking, and then they will treat you and they will make you feel like you are Malaysian.
Yes.
So these are the things that I believe our neighbors they are doing something else. So I would say that this is our strength, or this is our advantage. That many people, especially people in China, actually they want to feel this kind of this kind of experience. So this concept of homestay is one of the things that we always sell to people who wants to visit to Malaysia. Apart from the standard tourist
Yes.
things, yeah, like for example, shopping. Of course, we have hundreds of shopping malls.
Yeah.
I would say, and then if you like beaches, we have a lot of beautiful beaches. If you like to do outdoor activities, I think you love to do hiking or
Yes.
jungle trekking, and we have a lot. Now we have caving.
Oh, really?
Not now, but
Oh.
this is a trend
Yeah.
that people are doing now. They go into the nature.
Yes.
They go into the cave. They camp. They do a lot of things. So this is like a trend now. People have not been gone out from home since COVID.
Yes.
So now is the time that people
Yes.
actually go out and
try to
enjoy
live
the
it.
nature.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are really happening right now. So we have the Mount Kinabalu. I mean, if you hike the mountain, it's like something like you can say one of your life achievement.
Yeah.
So many people comes to Malaysia for this opportunity to climb the Mount Kinabalu, to go to the beaches, and a lot. It's very difficult to say, but there's so many things that can be done in Malaysia if you come as a tourist. And I would sell one more thing is the food. The food is nothing more, less. How do I say? I know Senegalese taste. Like I said, I've been here for 3 years, so I know Senegalese very well. I know what they like, and I know what they don't like. So I have the same belief that Malaysians offer the same level of
Spicy.
yes, exactly, yes.
Let's just say you are selling so well the country that I'll be looking for my plane ticket just after the show. I'm just telling you that, and you just ended by the best part, the best for last, the food, right?
Yes.
And yeah, really interesting. Haita.
I actually have a follow-up question
Yeah.
to Ali's question, and maybe it's time for me to make my confession
Okay.
that I alluded to earlier.
It's time.
I don't know why, but Malaysia and Thailand are the two countries that I've been dreaming to visit in Southeast Asia, and I'm glad the countries are next to each other, so I can
Yes.
just
Yes.
go to
Just
one
move
and
from
then
from
visit the
from one to
other.
another.
Exactly.
In terms of, I know it's great what you have described, but everywhere in the world, the bottleneck about travel is visa process, especially for some people in some part of the world.
Let's name it Senegal.
So, how easy is it for Senegalese to get to Malaysia?
Well, I hate to surprise you, but Senegalese have 30 days of visa free to visit Malaysia. So practically right now, if you have the money, you
Yeah.
buy the flight ticket, You can actually go now, right now. You don't even need to go to our embassy to get the visa. Uh,
Just with the passport?
if you are planning to visit for example like 2 weeks, for example, you are definitely it is definitely a go. So you don't need a visa. You don't need to apply for a visa because we, like I said, Malaysia and Senegal, we shared we enjoy a very strong bilateral relations. So in the early of 2010s, like I'm not exactly sure exactly when, but that's when we signed the agreement between Malaysia and Senegal that we agreed to 30 days of visa free. Even Malaysians who wants to visit Senegal, they don't have to go to your embassy in Kuala Lumpur. They can just pick up the passport and come here right away.
And buy the ticket and just
Yep.
Malaysia here.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Haida, what are we still doing here?
I know,
Yeah.
right? After
You should
everything
get
that-
your
Yes.
passport and yeah,
So if you're staying for 30 days, you don't need a visa. But
Yep.
beyond that, you will need a visa.
you will need we also are now working on the extension of stay, which is also another 30 days. So basically what we're trying to do is 30 plus 30 days, so 60 days. But the extension are still being worked out. And because why I said that, because Malaysians, if they visit Senegal, they got 90 days 90 days of visa free. So Malaysians get to stay here for 3 months without visa. But for Senegalese, they for now only for 1 month, for 30 days. But we are working on that extension.
Definitely.
Yep.
Reciprocity.
Of course.
Yeah, sure. Haida.
So let's move now to education opportunities
Yeah.
in Malaysia, because I heard there's a lot. Right now, you have many Senegalese students who are studying in Malaysia. So, what does your country offer in terms of opportunities for higher education? And do you provide scholarships?
Okay. Why Malaysia? Well, I want to share with you that during COVID, we cannot really go out and do programs outside of the office. So, but what we did was we focused on higher education at the time. One of our major projects at the time. So we called a lot of Senegalese students who wants to go to visit Malaysia, because at the time, Malaysian universities, they were offering a lot of scholarships in 2020 at the time, because this is the opportunity to get more international students to go to Malaysia. So we did some. We helped them actually. We did a series of interview with Senegalese students, and I was surprised that there were a lot of them actually.
Yes.
There were a lot of them. They were well informed about this opportunity, and we interviewed more than 200 students at the
Amazing.
time. Yeah. But we made it very clear. We said you need to pass your baccalaureate, your score more than 10. If you get less than 10, I'm sorry
Yes.
that you might want to look for other opportunities. And yeah, for these 200, more than 200 people they scored, they are very brilliant. They are very smart. Talking about Senegal, I mean, with the Senegalese students, they are smart, and more than 70% of them speak English very well. So we were having difficulties to no, we don't select, we recommend. We
Okay.
recommend to universities. It was the university's job to select. So what we did, we recommended. And I asked them, I tried to get why you really want to go to Malaysia? What makes Malaysia so interesting? And most of them, they said that Malaysia offers a very safe and conducive place for them to study. Well, I am not sure about other countries. I mean, I have not been to many countries that the students has gone to, for example, like France or maybe China or maybe some other places. I'm not really sure. But what they said, that the feedback that I got, that Senegalese students in Malaysia, they enjoy life to the fullest, in the sense that they are Muslims, but they are free
Yeah.
to practice Islam, because we are in the same
Yes.
same
Yes.
Same
There's a lot
category.
of similarities.
Yeah, a lot of
between the two,
similarities.
yeah.
And and these kids, I would say students, they are very happy because most of the parents that we also interviewed, they said that they don't want to send the kids to the Western world so much because they want the kids to maintain, the faith, the practice of Islam, and that's why they chose Malaysia, because Malaysia is a place where they can continue being who they are without having to complicate other things. And that's one thing. The way of life, again, I said way of life in Malaysia is something that Senegalese want. So that is one thing. The second thing is about the tuition fees or the cost of living in Malaysia, because we really need to talk about money, because
absolutely
we cannot study abroad without talking about money. So
definitely.
The prices, I would say the prices, to study in Malaysia was comparatively low than other countries with the same or with the higher level of accreditation or qualification. So this is another reason why Senegalese students they want to go to Malaysia to study. I don't have the figure right now to compare with you, but we can do that in another session. But there's a second one, because of the price, because of the cost of living, because money is always, it's a big thing for us. We always need to think about money. The parents they can afford, but they don't want to spend too much on other things. So Malaysia offers a very good, affordable, to study in Malaysia. And the third thing I would say, the qualification. Many graduates, in people that I know who studied in Malaysia and they came back to Dakar, most of them are employed. I mean, I've seen some of them who are still looking for jobs, but most of them, they are in a very good places right now. They work. Some of the one I know, he works now with the US Embassy. Some of them, they open their own business, and the businesses are doing well because of what they learn in Malaysia. So I was very proud. On my personal note, I was very proud that they learn how to do business in Malaysia. So yeah, I would say the quality of education, the marketability of the Malaysians graduates, or people who graduate in Malaysia. So these are the three things that I would say the reasons why Senegalese students, they like to go to Malaysia for their tertiary education. And in terms of scholarship, yes, every year we have hundreds of scholarships for international students. But again, these scholarships are not specifically for one country. It's an open scholarship. So can you imagine how many people could apply for that opportunity? And Senegalese are also Senegalese students are also among them who always go for the scholarship. But I just want to share with our listeners some of the issues that we encountered while doing this. Is that Senegalese students, they need to be more, I would say, independent when it comes to applying for universities. Some of them, they are independent, they know very well, but there are a few of them who expect that everything will come to them. Everything should be prepared for them. All they know that, okay, I got good results, I just want to go. It doesn't work that way. I mean, people, they have to work on their own as well, because the way scholarship works is you have to get a placement first. Get a placement, apply for that university, for that course, and then once you get the placement, you go for the scholarship, you apply for the scholarship. So some of them who are smart, who are bright students, they have this kind of, I would say, attitude, which is not really pleasant attitude. But when we told them, oh, you need to get the placement first, and then you can apply for scholarship, and then they'll be like, can I do both at the same time? things like that.
They feel entitled.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. I am sorry. I have to tell them that.
Talk
No,
about
it's
it.
good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good,
you gotta
definitely
do
good
more
too.
actually. I know you are smart, you are bright, but you are not entitled for that yet.
Exactly.
You are qualified,
Sure.
but you are not entitled for that.
Entitled, yes.
So these are the things I just want to share with our listeners,
Absolutely. I
Senegalese
think it's
students who
important.
are listening to this talk. Is you are not done there. Your final exam is not the final one. After you got the result, you got to do extra more. Get a placement at a good
To
universities
get to the place, yeah.
and apply for scholarship. If you are qualified enough, people will see you and people will give you the scholarship. That's how it works actually.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I was having a follow-up question. What is it when it comes to employability for foreign students like Senegalese ones in Malaysia after they graduate?
I know some of the Senegalese who works in banks in Malaysia.
Great.
In Malaysia, we don't have a specific, quota or laws to when it comes to employing foreigners.
Okay.
We don't have that law. So meaning, if you now apply for a job in Malaysia, no one can stop you. No one can say, you cannot work in Malaysia because Malaysia needs to employ the locals
Local
people.
first.
No, it doesn't work in Malaysia. So Malaysia is very open when it comes to employment. So I know about more than 20 Senegalese that I know, more than 20 Senegalese that I know who are currently working in Malaysia in the executive positions in businesses. So they are doing very well. And applying for work visa in Malaysia is not as difficult as other countries, I would say. And the many countries, when it comes to work visa, it always involves the fee. The fee is very expensive and whatsoever. But not for the case, not for Malaysia. The amount of fee that you have to pay for the work visa is not as expensive as other countries, and that's why a lot of professionals, a lot of people who work in the oil and gas sector,
Yes.
they all come to Malaysia and try to find a job. That's why in that particular sector, it's very difficult even for Malaysians because the competition was very, very high. So to answer your questions, if they are foreigners, they studied in Malaysia and they want to work in Malaysia, the opportunities are always there. So like I said, there was no discrimination against the foreigners. It's an open economy, it's an open sector for Malaysia.
Interesting to know. Thank you.
And just a follow-up question. Sorry, I know education visa is a very dicey issue, so you'll forgive our belabeling the point. But so how would students know that their study opportunities open in Malaysia? Do you announce it officially? Is it through the government? How, if I listen to the show and I want to go to study in Malaysia, what do? I come to the embassy and ask for information, and the scholarship you provide, do you do it through the government, or how does it work?
Yeah, there are many ways that we promote the opportunities. One of them is we work with the scholarship division of the Ministry of Higher Education in Senegal.
Direction des bourses.
Yep. We work with them. The office is in town near the Emirates office there.
Yes.
So that's where this is the office that we work with. So every year after the baccalaureate, how do I pronounce it correctly?
Baccalaureate, yeah.
So every year when the results were released, we will work with the scholarship division, and we will tell them that Malaysia is offering a number of scholarship for the bright students. So I can share with you in the last 2 years actually. I mean, we do it every year, but last 2 years was it was very challenging for us because there was so many good students who scored more than 14 out of 20, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of students scored more than 14 at that time, and the number of scholarship is not as many as the number of the students, and we were having a hard time to actually tell them, oh, we are sorry, you know, we need to send a number of people but we couldn't send all. But and I was surprised at the time. Many students, I told them, hey, your result is very impressive. Why didn't you go to Morocco, to France, or to other places, to Canada, to the US? And they said, I want to go to Malaysia. I was like, wow, I was surprised.
Yes.
When I was in Malaysia, I really want to go out.
I know.
And it's surprising to see that people want to go to Malaysia.
So that's one way we work with the scholarship division. Second way, we also have our social media platforms on Facebook and on Twitter. We have a lot of students following the social media platforms, and that's where we promote the scholarships by these universities. So earlier this year, we got scholarship opportunities from University Malaysia Sarawak, which is in one of the states in Malaysia, and they offered about 50 scholarships to African students. So Senegal was one of the top countries that they look into, and we interviewed about more than 50 students actually at that time, and we were surprised because this time we just blasted across our social media platforms, and 50 people showed up. More than 50 people showed up, and it was I would say it was very useful, the platforms that we are using. So and also we work through some agents in Senegal. We have few agents, about 5 agents work with us when it comes to because they receive a lot of inquiries. How the parents especially, some parents they have a lot of money, but they want to send the kids to the right place. They are very protective. One thing I learned about Senegalese, the parents, they are very protective.
Yeah.
Especially the mothers. They really make sure.
And that might be the reason why some students feel entitled. Because they are so overprotected. So there are occasions where the parents are doing all the inquiries with the embassy, and then I was like, "Where's your daughter? Where's your son?" It's like the parents are going to Malaysia, but this is good actually. Actually, the parents they care about the kids. But again, it goes back to our discussion just now. Kids should do more.
I think it just has something to do with the French system. Very passive. Very passive, and nowhere from primary school to university, there's nowhere where students are put in a situation where they have to look for scholarship. Actually, one of my dreams, because you have students who will be doing baccalaureate, you ask them what they want to do after their baccalaureate, they don't know.
There was no exposure.
There's no exposure, and I'm like, maybe we should have somewhere in the schools where we invite all these, companies and organizations, and depending on the field of studies you are in, they can tell you what are some of the opportunities you can study. But I think the French school system is lacking that, and it might be the reason why some of the students are passive. You might see it as a sense of entitlement, but it's more like not knowing what to do, which is very, very, very bad. But I hear what you say. I want to move now on Islamic banking and Islamic financing, because I know it's been a hot topic. And I know Malaysia is known as a trailblazer in the sector. So what is the importance of Islamic finance as opposed to mainstream traditional financing? And if there's any practice that you think Senegal should follow, and what would that be? The similarities between
Malaysia and Senegal is always the value, the Islamic value that we always practice. You know, Senegal and Malaysia are not very different in that sense, and we always want to do something that is according to the Islamic law. You know, whenever it involves money, for example, when we pay people, we want to make sure that we pay people, we pay the vendor, and we get the item. So these are the things in the Islamic finance that they taught. So that why Malaysia started this, I would say started. Malaysia has been developing this Islamic finance sector in the early 90s when more banks are employing the concept of Islamic finance, Islamic banking, because it does not just give the same amount of profit, but it also gives a different set of values to the consumers. And like I said, like riba, for example, the interest, you know, in Islamic banking, the concept is not really that different from interest. Instead of interest, we use hibah. You know, hibah is like in the sense of it's like a gift. Yeah, like a gift. For example, if I want to borrow from the bank 1 million sefa, for example, the bank will sell to me, will give to me 1 million sefa, but actually the value of that package is 1.1 million sefa, for example. So it is not an interest, it's not a riba. Although the concept is the same, but products are sold in like a package, you know, instead of, you know, give you money and then you just pay me extra, and that is what we call interest. We call riba. And for Islamic finance, because we always want to instill the Islamic values, so that's very important. And Senegal is moving towards that. For 2 consecutive years already, we are partnering up with the African Institute of Islamic Finance in Senegal. If you know Mr. Mamadou Lamine Baké, he is the CEO of the agency. So for the past 2 years, they have been doing the International Forum of Islamic Finance, and well, the participation from people across the region was very fantastic. Was so many people attended the forum. So Senegal, and we were very fortunate. We were very lucky that Mr. Mbake, he has the idea of looking into Malaysia as a model of Islamic finance, and he always tried to bring the idea of, if you want to do Islamic finance, look at how Malaysia is doing it. And Mr. Mbake, in year just right before COVID, actually, he visited Malaysia and he met with a lot of people in Malaysia, and he got the idea of doing the forum. And to answer your question, the last one, what kind of practice that I would really love to see in Malaysia, in my own personal opinion, is the establishment of the Hajj fund. You know, people go to do Hajj. You know, every year people go and do Hajj, and you know, to go to Hajj, everyone, regardless of your social class, regardless of your income, everyone should have the same opportunities to go and perform your Hajj, right? It's not something that only I have money I can go. It shouldn't work that way. And then in Malaysia, we have what we call a tabung haji. Tabung haji is in, if you translate into English, it means Hajj fund. Tabung means like a fund that you create a fund. So it has been a practice that we do in Malaysia. Whenever we have a baby, I just had a baby 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So the first thing that we always do is to open the account at Tabung Haji for the baby. So when they grow up at certain age, when they are qualified, when they are eligible, they can do Hajj with some subsidies from government. For example, here I learned from one of my colleagues at the embassy, she just performed Hajj this year, and it costs us about 5 million sefa.
Yeah.
I mean, for regular Senegalese who work from the age of 20, I mean, if you don't do savings, how can you get 5 million to go and perform Hajj? And it's not something that doable to most people. Even for me, I cannot come up with that huge amount and go do Hajj. So what we do in Malaysia, Tabung Haji, it encourages people to save. To save money every year or every month, put some money into that fund. It doesn't matter how much the fund is. Just put your money there and the money will grow. Tabung Haji will use your money that you save in your account. They use your money and they do things that can generate the money, like investment, overseas investment, domestic investment.
Awesome.
So your money actually growing in that bank.
Awesome.
And I can share with you the dividend of last year is 5%.
Wow.
So if you put 1 million sefa, for example, at the end of the year, you get 50,000. And this is a dividend that is always been free from any, how do I say, there was no interest, there was no, because the projects that they were doing was always according to the Islamic law. So your money is perfectly safe from any evil things, I would say. So this is how I really want to see, because as far as I know, there was no system, there was no banking system in Senegal that encouraged savings for people to perform Hajj. So
interesting.
If one day, because now Mr. Mbake is working on that, he wants to start doing that, and I think it's a very good practice to encourage Senegalese to save money.
It is.
And I just want to share with you the way I see how my colleagues and my staff, when I ask them, do you have any savings at the end of the month? They say, no, Mr. Wafi, I don't have anything. I said, are you sure you don't even have, like, do you do a small savings? No, Mr. Wafi, if I put my savings in my own fund, the next day I will take the money and use it. So when you do your own savings, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. That's why you need a place where you can just dump your money and you will never touch that money anymore. Always you can get money back, but at least you know that your money is there for your ultimate dream as a Muslim.
What you said speaks so much about Islamic solidarity, which I really struggle with in this country. If I see people begging in the street and the way people are giving them money, I always ask myself, why can't we organize ourselves in a way that people don't have to do this in the street? There's a place where they can go with dignity, pick up whatever they need and go. I think it brings about a broader discussion about Islamic solidarity in this country, and I'm really happy that you have something like that in Malaysia. It's really quite innovative.
It's an amazing idea in the sense that it also allows people to be aware of how important it is to get ready for what we want actually, and also to have a linear way of working and saving money. What I mostly like in it, it's the idea of starting saving the money for our kids, so that we are sure when we grow up that our parents might not be the ones who would be able to pay us really expensive studies and all this, but they make sure that we perform our religion and we go for this ultimate goal, because let's name it, it's one of the ultimate goals as a Muslim to perform Hajj. Yes, and to remain with Islam, but coming back to food, our favorite part.
Before that, I just want to respond to Madam's opinion just now about solidarity. This is what it's not what we do. It's already in the Quran. It's about zakat.
Absolutely.
Zakat, and we have a very strong institution when it comes to zakat. So people pay zakat. People like you, like us, for example, we have income, so we pay zakat every month. We pay zakat, and people who are unfortunate, I would say, people are who doesn't have that means to live, for example, they can always go to zakat office and apply for donation, and they will get a very good amount of money for them to sustain the whole month. And like you said, a lot of people begging money in Senegal. I mean, we have that in Malaysia, but not as many or as many as in Senegal, because of, like I said just now, because of the institution of zakat that we have in Malaysia was very, very helpful to these people who are in need. Yeah.
This is amazing. This is really amazing.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
Let's go
it's
back to
fine.
food.
Let's go back to the food. Malaysia has been regarded as a leader in the halal industry, and not only in Asian region but really globally. What contributes to that success? What makes Malaysia such a leader in promoting halal food?
I would say why we succeed in this industry, in this sector, is because we have the halal standards, we have the halal qualification, we have a lot of agencies that are doing only that halal standards. If you go to if you have a chance to visit one of these agencies, the building is so big, it's bigger than our ministry.
Oh,
The building is so big, meaning that they are taking these halal standards very seriously. And it's not only just for the global markets, it's also for the domestic consumption as well. So halal standards has become things that, people want confidence when they consume things, when they buy things, when they go to restaurants. So they want these halal standards and halal qualification. And in Malaysia, we always encourage that. Not only when you go to restaurant, even when you do your own products, even if you manufacture your own products, not only limited to food, but also to cosmetics, to all other things. They always want to make sure that you don't use materials that comes from non-halal thing. So this is, I would say that would be the factor of the success, because of the halal standards, the halal quality, and these standards, this model has always been adopted by many countries in the Middle East. They look at the standards that we have, and they copy the same standards. We have partnership with a lot of countries in the Middle East, including the Emirates, including the Saudi Arabia, in Qatar. So we always work together. That they always look for the standards set by Malaysia. Even our neighbors also follow the same quality and the same standards set by Malaysia. So that's why, actually, if I have difficulty in Senegal, to be honest with you. When I go to Auchan or when I go to casino, some of the items are imported. So actually, when you buy chicken nuggets, for example, casino or shop, you don't have a full confidence that this is halal. The chicken was slaughtered according to the halal way, and the meat are processed in the halal way. So you don't have that confidence when you buy these things. So
you should not worry about it as a Muslim in a country like Senegal. One should not worry about such a thing. I presume that it's something that we should feel entitled to have here in this country, just like I guess Malaysian people have in their country. They're entitled to feel confident
safe
in the food they eat.
Safe, exactly, safe when it comes to it.
My another experience is when you go to some supermarkets and you see how the chicken and the beef is arranged very next to the pork. So you were not supposed to eat anything that comes from that animal but
Yes.
but if you look carefully, they were using the same knife, they were using the same hand glove that they use to process the pork and then to process the chicken. And then sometimes I had to say to them, Monsieur, can you change your glove please? At least
Yeah.
I cannot stop him from the knife, but at least the glove I can see,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like you said just now, we are in a Muslim majority
Yes.
country, and we should feel that kind of confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Let's talk about something else now. The Malaysian National Petroleum Company, Petronas, is huge and famous in the global arena. That they are the principal sponsor of, for example, the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share the level of investment of Petronas in the West African region and maybe the whole continent, and what are the areas in which Petronas invest? Knowing that, for example, we are currently having a lot of developing projects in the oil and gas sector, mainly here in Senegal with Sangomar for oil, but also GTA in Saint-Louis for gas. So how and where those Petronas invest?
At the moment, Petronas is very concentrated in the north, in the east, and in the south. So in the north, they are working very. They have few blocks in the northern area. In the east, they have some investment business in Sudan, and in the south, of course, in South Africa, they are very. They are there in South Africa, but in this region, in West Africa region, at the moment they have some huge investment in Nigeria and also in Gabon. But in Senegal, the level of investment is significant, but is still is huge, but not very significant at the moment, I would say, because the amount that they have is they have like 30% of ownership, 30% of drilling rights in a block that is mainly owned by Total. Okay, so Total owned that block by 60%.
Wow.
So Petronas was only 30%, and 10% is of course for Petrosen. So at the moment, that 30% is not that is huge, but not that significant for the time being.
Compared to-
But I would say that it is a good starting point for Petronas to be present here in Senegal, because we are very well aware that Senegal soon will start drilling. I would say will start the real
Producing.
job, we call it now,
Producing.
because start producing. Yes, correct. Because now I think they are pretty much done with the study part, and now is the let's do this part. So they are studying very soon, I think. And from what I heard, that Petronas is engaging with Petrosen, with the Ministry of Energy, and they are looking for more opportunities in this sector. So Petronas, that is on the physical investment, okay. But Petronas is also doing so much with Senegal in terms of development of human capital.
Social investment?
Yes. For example, Petronas, through the training arms, the university and also the training center, every year we will have a lot of Senegalese professionals, Senegalese engineers from IMPJ, if you know IMPJ. Yeah. They send a number of students, a lot of them, close to 20 people every year. They send it to Malaysia to undergo to go through the the trainings in Malaysia. It's a hands-on training. It's not theoretical training. It's a hands-on training. They get to feel how to work, according to Petronas way. Of course, when you work with different companies, there are different ways. But that's what we are doing. And these trainings were given in a very small cost, I would say, to Senegal, because as far as I know, the Senegalese company, the Senegalese government through IMPJ just need to pay for the flight ticket and also with some small accommodation fee when they were in Malaysia. But the cost itself, it was free for Malaysia, for Senegalese professionals. So not only that, we also have the Petronas University. They call it University Technology Petronas. They also work together with IMPJ and with some other academies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. I think we are moving now to the final question. Just a reminder to our listeners that you're listening on 89.2 FM, your Baobab Talk Show, and we are receiving today Mr. Abdul Wafi Zulkifli, First Secretary, Chargé d'Affaires of the Malaysian Embassy here in Dakar. Mr. Wafi, you mentioned Mr. Mbake as one of the Senegalese who's always looking up to Malaysia when it comes to Islamic financing. But there's another Senegalese who loves Malaysia so much. He's an economist. His name is Mubarak Lo. I don't know if you know him, but he likes to cite Malaysia as a model of economic development. Because comparatively to other African countries, Malaysia got its independence in the late 50s, precisely in 1957, 3 years before Senegal. However, Malaysia's economy has been growing like
really fast,
crazy compared to the rest of Africa, particularly West Africa. So what accounts for this economic development, and what is so particular or peculiar about Malaysia's economic development that has allowed the country to really we say here in Senegal that what is the term we use again? Le Senegal emergent, emerging countries, but it seems like Malaysia has emerged, and from all indication and from everything you have said, it's an organized country.
Yeah.
So how did you guys do that?
Well, it's not like I can share with you a recipe how to do shebujen, it's not. I don't know how to share that with you. But what I can share with you is, we Malaysians, I'm just giving you as a general concept of Malaysians that when we had economic problem, economic recession, for example, from the way I see it is that Malaysia works with what we have at that time. We don't always go straight to our international partners and ask for donations or aids to help to rebuild the economy. And we are just like Senegal. We have been colonized by the Westerners. We were colonized by the British, and we got the independence from the British just 3 years before Senegal got from France, and it was not that different how the French left Senegal and how the British left Malaysia. It's not very much different. We are still being left underdeveloped at the time. But what we did was I would praise our leaders at that time. I mean, they were very visionary. They were always try to modernize Malaysia at the time, and especially if I can just recall, it was Tun Dr. Mahathir, our fourth Prime Minister, and also the seventh Prime Minister. So he get to become the Prime Minister again.
Twice.
So he visited Senegal in January 2019. I remember at that time he was talking to President Macky Sall, and then he said, Senegal that I see today is not the same as Senegal 20 years ago. So he also acknowledged that Senegal has grown, has grown a lot in terms of its economy. So what I can say is, going back to what I said just now, is at the time, Tun Dr. Mahathir, when he was the Prime Minister, he knows that we are in a very deep economic recession at the time. So what he did was he did a lot of things to, especially in the physical infrastructure of the country. So we did the tallest twin tower in the world, and these kind of projects create more jobs, create more money, and people are very, and that is how we actually came out from the recession. So when you ask me, secret, like how to make the best Cheboujen in Senegal, one of the most important ingredients is always the leadership.
Absolutely.
I have a very deep passion when it comes to Malaysian leaders. I would say now we have 8 prime minister already, 9 prime minister, and all of them are visionaries, visionary, and they have the same level of priority. They have the same priority, of course, to make sure that Malaysia always will become the high income nation. So yeah.
Awesome.
Let's say that leadership and vision or to growth. What concentrated tomato is the Cheboujen.
Yes.
For finally.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr.
I thank you
Zulkifli,
guys so much.
for
Thank you.
sharing so much about your country and making us love it in the process.
Really.
Thank
You did a great job. So hopefully many Senegalese will be visiting Malaysia.
Yeah.
Business people will be going to Malaysia, and they will be investing in buying crude oil
Yeah. Yes.
because you produce a lot.
Yes. That's correct.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to
Thank
receive
you
you.
so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you so much. I hope to come again soon.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
We're definitely looking forward to having you again.
Soon.
Thank you.
It was great.
There's a lot of things.